Hello students, in this video we are going to see whether a given number is a prime number or not, and then we'll also be looking at how to find out whether a given number is an automorphic number or not. Okay, so let's see the output first. You can see that there is a menu displayed here. Option 1 is prime and option 2 is automorphic number. If I enter 1, then I am presented with another message that enter number. Okay, so let's enter 20. Now the program will check whether 20 is a prime number or not, and it will accordingly display 20 is not a prime number. Now let's test it for some prime number. Okay, let's again choose option 1 and then let me enter 5. So it is showing 5 is a prime number. Okay, let's check the second option, that is 2, automorphic. Okay, now I'll explain what is automorphic number. For example, 25, if I enter 25, 25 is automorphic, and if I enter 26, 26, sorry, that was wrong input. If I enter option 2, then it will ask me for a number. Now I'll enter 25. So 25 is automorphic, and if I choose 26 this time, 26 is not automorphic. So let's see the code for it. So I've displayed a menu here, and then the user will enter 1 or 2. Okay, 1 for prime and 2 for automorphic. That is stored in the variable choice. Okay, and then whatever the choice is, I'll then ask for the number which is to be tested as prime or automorphic. Okay, and I'll store it in the variable num. Then I'll pass the choice as an expression to the switch statement. Okay, so if choice is storing 1, we will calculate we'll find out whether the given number, the input number, is prime or not, and if choice is storing 2, then we'll find out whether the given number is automorphic or not. And if the user's choice is anything other than 1 and 2, I'll display invalid number. Or we can display invalid choice. Okay, so let's see how to find out whether the given number is a prime number or not. So the logic that I've used here is this. Let's consider a number 5. Okay, now I'll divide this number by 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. That is 1 and the number itself is there, and then all the numbers in between. So if at any time there is division happening, okay, that means 1 will divide 5 but 2 will not divide. Okay, so when 1 divides, I will increase the value of a counter variable which is initially 0. Okay, but whenever the division happens, counter will increase by 1. Okay, similarly, in case of 2, counter will not increase. In case of 3, counter will not increase. In case of 4 also, counter will not increase. But in case of 5, because 5 is divisible by 5, okay, so counter will increase. So the counter of value will be 2. Okay, let's take another number, 7. Okay, now this 7, I will divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So you can see that the division will happen only with 1 and 7, but the other numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will not divide 7. So counter will increase only 2 times. So the counter value will be again 2 only. But let's take some non-prime number. Okay, 5 and 7 were prime, but let's take the example of 4. 4 will get divided by 1, 2 Okay, first let us write down all the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Start from 1 and go up till the given number itself. Okay, so 1 and 4 will divide the number 4, and also there is a 2 here, that means this time the counter variable will be 3. Okay, so the logic is like this: if after dividing the given number from 1 till if after dividing the given number by 1, start from 1 and go up till that number, if there is a division by any of those number, counter will increase, and if the counter value is 2, that means that's a prime number. You can see here, in case of prime numbers, the value of counter will always be 2, but in case of a non-prime number like 4, the value of counter will not be 2. Okay, so this is the logic used here. So let's come to the code. I've initialized a count variable here, which is initially 0. Then I'm starting a loop which will go from 1 till the number itself. Okay, num. So in num, if there is 5, that means the loop will execute 5 times. Okay, and each time this line here, if num modulus I, that is first time it will be 5 modulus 1, second time of the loop iteration it will be 5 modulus 2, third time it will be 5 modulus 3, fourth time it will be 5 modulus 4, and fifth time it will be 5 modulus 5. Okay, so these two are the only iterations where the condition will be true. Okay, the remaining 3 conditions will be false, so counter will increase only 2 times. Okay, then once we are outside the loop, okay, when we get outside the loop, then we check the value of count. If count is 2, then we print that the given number is a prime number, else we print that the given number is not a prime number. Simple logic. Okay, now let's see the next option, that is automorphic number. So let me explain you what is automorphic. Okay, for example, let's take 5 square. So 5 square is 25. Let's take 25 square. 25 square is 625, and then let's take 26 squared. So 26 squared will be 676. So what is happening here? Let's consider the first case. Okay, here the original number is 5. In the original number we have got 1 digit. So in the square of that number we will check only last 1 digit. If it is same as the original number, that means it's an automorphic number. So this one is automorphic. 5 is automorphic. Let's check the second number, 25. So 25, this is the original number. In this we have got 2 digits. So in the square we will be checking the last 2 digits. So here also the last 2 digits is same as the original number. So this is also automorphic. Let's check the third number, 26. 26 squared is 676. Here you can see that there are 2 digits in the original number, and in the square the last 2 digits is not same as the original number. So this one, 26, is not an automorphic number. So what will be the logic for this? First of all, we'll calculate the number of digits in the given number. Okay, so that is what has been done here. in num we have the original number, I copied it to t, so that if I make any changes to t, I will still have the original number. Okay, the original number will not get lost. Then NOD, number of digits, will store the number of digits, and then divisor, I'll explain this divisor later. Square will store the square of the original number. Okay, let's come to this logic here. So while t is greater than 0, I am increasing the value of count by 1, and then I am updating the value of t. So let's say the number is, let's say the number in t is 25. So control comes inside, NOD becomes 1. Okay, and then t is equal to t divided by 10 will make the value of t as 2. Then next time t value is checked again. So the t greater than 0 condition is true. NOD will become 2 now, and t will be 0 this time. Okay, so this was the second iteration of the loop. In the third iteration, again the condition is checked, t greater than 0, t value is 0, so 0 greater than 0, condition is false, so we come outside the loop. That means the value of NOD in this case will be 2. So this loop is counting the number of digits. Okay, so once we have found out the number of digits, okay, we need to calculate the divisor. Okay, now the divisor is important, because the divisor will decide that how many digits we want from the square. Okay, how many digits from the right side of the square do we want? Now if you notice, in case of 5, the number of digits was 1. Okay, so if I want to get the last one digit of the square, I need to divide the original number by 10. Okay, whenever we divide a number by 10 and get the remainder will always give you the last one digit. Okay, let's check the second number, 25. When num is 25, NOD value will be 2. That means we need to get the last two digit. So if I want the last two digit of the given number, I'll divide the given number by 100 and get the remainder. The remainder will give me the last two digits of the number. Now you can see a pattern here, that if you want the last one digit, divide by 10, get the remainder. If you want the last two digits, divide by 100 and get the last two digits of the number. So you can see that when NOD is 1, we can do 10 power 1. This will give me the divisor as 10, and NOD is 2. Okay, we can do 10 power 2. That means we have to divide by 100. So 10 power NOD will give me the divisor, whether it should be 10, whether it should be 100, 1000 or whatever. Okay, depending upon the number of digits we want to extract. Okay, so I am simply calculating 10 power NOD here using the power function. Okay, and the power function returns a double value. I convert it explicitly, I have typecasted it into an integer, and then I am storing it in this variable divisor. Okay, so in the case of 25, in divisor we will have 10 power 2, that is 100. In case of 5, if the number is 5, divisor will be storing 10. But this time let's take the example of 25. So 25, in case of 25, divisor will be storing 100. Okay. Now here I have written SQ modulus divisor. What is the value of SQ if num is 25? The value of SQ is 625. Okay. Now divided by 100. So 100 into 6 will give me 600, and the remainder will be 25. So the remainder is the last 2 digits of the square. Now, so the answer for this SQ modulus divisor will be 25, and in num we already have 25. So 25 equals 25. Therefore, the number which is stored in num, which is 25, is an automorphic number. So I hope you have understood this program for finding out whether a given number is a prime number and also whether it is an automorphic number or not. Thank you.